Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and welcome to another horrible gaming podcast. You have decided, for whatever reason, to listen once again. You're going to notice... am I pointing the right way? No. There we go. You'll notice over there that there's nobody there. That is because Neil's taking a day off, and honestly, I decided to take a day off myself. However, a day off still means you guys get a podcast. So, what are we doing today? Well, if you're new to the show, I am doing an interview show. I do this with my community members, the most active community members who comment on all our videos or do stuff with us, do collaborations with and stuff. I like to interview them about their gaming history, everything that's gone in, that's kind of like influenced their gaming, and that usually snowballs into some things about their life, just getting to know them, really. Getting to know them, that sort of thing. So that's what it is. If you're somebody who's been around for a while, you've seen these before. I like to put them up in places when we don't have a full normal podcast there. So this week, I'm interviewing for the first time ever, long-time commenter William Houen, newer but very active commenter Bloody Nose, and then Grandpa Gamer, the guy who sits with me to do the OMGM show every Thursdays. So a lot of fun was had on all of these, so please check them out. I hope you enjoy them, and we will be back next week with a full show, normal show, with a tiny wizard sitting next to me being wrong about video games for the most part. And he took the week off, so he can't be upset that I took a shot at him. In any case, also do not forget to leave your fan interaction, because we will read all the fan interaction from not only last week, but this week's show. So please, by all means, continue to comment. We will still read them out. And we'll see you guys next week. But until then, don't go anywhere, because we have some three really interesting community members and the interviews with them coming your way right now.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Okay, I know I said we were going to go right into the interviews, but I almost forgot to thank the people who make this fine show possible. Other than the wonderful people who decided to agree to be interviewed this time, I want to say thank you to the man who made the custom picture behind my ugly mug. That's Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that. And then, of course, the theme song for this show and all the shows here at Old Man Gaming, done by the man who makes the music, my brother, Nick Van Siders. We thank him for that. And now, our first interview with William Houen.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I know for certain that this is going to be my first guest today. He's definitely going to be number one because this is overdue as far as the interview series go. So I'm going to introduce William Houen, one of our most active community members as far as the commenting. He's been a fan of the podcast for years. He actually, I think, went back and listened to them all, which is insane. I would never recommend anybody do this. And then he actually also has his own YouTube channel that if you guys, before I obviously let him talk, which I'm going to, you could see on the screen I have put in, that's not a hyperlink, you'll have to type it in yourself, but that's his web address to his YouTube right now. Go check him out. He does some really cool in-depth videos, a lot of stuff on some games that are much more niche and out there than a lot of other people are do, which I like. So, William Houen, welcome to the podcast.
Hi! Exclamation point.
Yes!
Houen here. How are you, Zach?
I am good. I can't wait to see what your comments are going to be on this video, being that
Look,
you're in it.
I can't wait to see what my comments are going to be. So,
I don't even know myself. Who knows?
yeah, who knows? So yeah, I'm happy to be here. I like talking about games, and I like you and Old Man Gamer. So, Old Man Gaming, should I say?
Oh, that's fine. I'll take it. I take it either way. I don't mind.
Yeah.
You are one of our oldest fans, honestly. At least for the podcast, and our most active fans, without a doubt. So we appreciate you. I kind of feel like this was overdue. Me asking to interview you.
It's fine. It's fine. It's all right, and yeah, we can thank the pandemic for me being a fan of Old Man Gaming, because this is where I got to start to listen to the podcast. And I wish, because I'm commenting on every video, and I wish that YouTube wouldn't, delete randomly my comments. I'm being super careful lately to not use any bad words or any sentences that could refer to something bad. And it still happens. And, we have to manually delete the porn comments we got on our channel.
Yeah. So, what's that about? Why? That's my big beef. I could do a whole talking point on that. Why is it that William Hohen's wonderful comments to me get deleted, but I still gotta delete the hyperlink to Czechoslovakian Girls Now every 10 seconds? Like, so frustrating. So frustrating.
Good job, YouTube. Good
yeah,
job. I mean,
because you're winning it out there, YouTube.
I'm grateful for YouTube, because this is a great way to share videos. Back in the days, it was very hard when we didn't when YouTube didn't exist. But still, this is dumb. This is really, really dumb.
Look, I'll sing YouTube's praises on the fact that it allows, at the very least, myself, a 41-year-old dude, to basically run a YouTube channel with 7 days worth of content weekly out of his basement, which you just that wouldn't have happened in my youth. That was impossible to think of. And the fact
this is crazy.
Yeah. The fact that 355 people were motivated to click a subscribe button too is just insane to me. That and anybody who's out there like, oh, I'm not. There was a guy I was talking to recently. I won't say names, but he was like, it's tough because you look at the numbers and you're always counting numbers. I was like, look, man, you got to look at it this way. Picture the amount of people who have subscribed to your YouTube channel in a room. In one room.
Yep, this is exactly what I say too. I'm thinking of the numbers, put them into my house, and it's crazy.
Yeah. We were gonna talk about YouTube in the interview, so I'm gonna cut us off real quick and come back to the YouTube subject if you don't mind.
All right.
But I've got a couple of questions I ask everybody who comes on here. Everybody who comes out of here, and then I always end with the same question. So we're gonna do those, but we're gonna do those starter questions first. And the number one is, what was the first game or gaming experience you ever had that you can remember? Just the first one. When did William Hohen meet gaming? When was that match? When did that match begin?
Okay, so actually I have kind of two answers. The answer I usually give, I was 5 years old, it's Christmas, and I got a Game Boy. And with that Game Boy came Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Fall of the Foot Clan. And this is the first game, the first real video game I've ever played. It took me months, dude, to beat it. Because, you had 4 turtles, and when you died, you lose one, and then you have 3 left. And, there was like 5 stages. And it was kind of a roguelike in a way, because once you're dead, it's back to the beginning. There was no way to save the game. And so it took me months. And my dad liked this game, and he was the first to beat it. And, remember the Game Boy, it was like 4 AA batteries. And when the battery were dying, the screen was getting dark and the sound was getting messy. And
there was no battery blinking light either. You just had to figure it out from context clues.
Yep. And then we had a something to plug in the wall. And I remember my dad on the kitchen counter with the Game Boy plugged in the wall, and he beat the game, and he was so happy. And anyway, lately there was the Kowabunga collection,
Yeah.
and I replayed the game after maybe 25 years, and of course I've beat it first time, and it took me 21 minutes. So
Oh.
it's on video. It's on my channel. If you want to prove.
Oh man, how have I missed that? I gotta go back and watch that. I'm gonna go back and watch that. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle content. I can't miss Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle content.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the first, proper video game I've played.
Okay.
But before that, my dad, I'll send you a picture if you want to put it out in the video or just for your entertainment.
Well, at least put it up on Discord.
Yeah.
At least.
It was a kind of a rectangular piece of plastic with some hockey players. And it was kind of game, but it was just one red light moving from one place to another, and you were, passing the puck to each player to try to, score.
Okay.
In hockey. And it was a 2-player game. You could play against the computer, but one could be the goaler, and the other one the 2 or 3 other hockey players. And I've played that before, the Game Boy. But
wow.
I don't know if it really counts as a video game.
Yeah, sure.
Because, it was real crazy.
Even if somebody thinks it doesn't, this is a horrible gaming podcast, not spot-on factual gaming podcast. But it sounds interesting. I do want a picture of that just because I'm kind of curious as to what that was. I love old school like gaming rigs and setups just because I'm from that era of Nintendo gamers, so it always I recently got my Sega Dreamcast running, and it makes me happy every day that I have that going again. Okay, all right, well, those are great answers. I'm going to now continue with my standard questions, and my second one is, this is a hard one, what is your favorite game of all time?
Yeah.
What's the game you play and you can always go back to it whenever, whatever?
Yeah, this is a really crazy question because it's very hard to compare, the old Mario platformer games to a JRPG or.
It's tough.
It's really, really tough. I would say that the game that has the biggest impact on me was Persona 3.
Okay.
I've played that on PS2, and it was, it was crazy to have that game back then. I know that nowadays it might not sound that weird, but the whole school day life with social links and dungeon crawling at night, and the way it was presented. It's kind of like an anime. It's a very long game. It's JRPG with turn-based content. And when I've played that, I was blown away. I really was. This is probably the game that has the biggest impact on me. I don't know if it would be the game that I would play forever.
Right.
On a desert island. I could have only one game. Would that be Persona 3? Man, I don't know. It is just so hard. I really don't like that question.
I'm sorry. There's no wrong answer, at least. There's no wrong answer. You can say whatever you want.
It's really hard.
It is.
I mean, think of it. You can only keep one game.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Because I like many, many, many games.
Right.
Many types of games. So.
Right. It would be hard no matter what. I'm kind of the other way. I could think of like 5 games that I could play that game anytime somebody wanted to play it, no problem. So like I could easily be okay with that being my desert game. Right. But I couldn't necessarily say that's one over that one. I've got like 5 or 6 of them. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I'm the same. Same. I have a few. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is one I can play anytime, every day. There's even a randomizer. By the way, just a fun fact, I think every action game should have a built-in randomizer.
Yeah.
it's probably hard to develop and program, but man, it keeps the game fresh. So
It does. Procedural generation is in my opinion, one of the best things that we've gotten out of the modern age of gaming is that ability to just like randomize something and see what you get. It just makes stuff so much more replayable. I've been playing that State of Decay 2 for literally years.
yes, indeed.
And it's because every time you play, you get a completely new group of characters, and it's like, how am I going to deal with these characters? I just love that procedural generation. Any game of procedural generation immediately pulls my attention every time, just because I want to see what goes into it,
Yep. This is yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. I agree with you, and I love when they put stuff like that in old school 2D games, which are nowadays easier to beat because of things like save states and stuff like that. I love stuff like that. I love stuff like that. Okay, so moving on. This is the only heavy question I'm going to ask you. It's not that heavy, but it's the only like slightly heavy question I'm going to ask you. So
I can take heavy questions, no problem.
well, I like that. I like that. I like to keep it light in my interviews on here. I don't want to. I mean, if it goes that way, it goes that way. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So name a time when gaming had a big impact on your life. Maybe it helped you through a tough time. Maybe it helped you meet somebody that's important to you. Something where like gaming connected you to a real world emotion.
Can I give two answers? Because
You can give as many answers as you want, brother.
all right. So first one is like 2007. I got a breakup, ended up alone in my apartment, and I was working a lot. I was back then I was a musician. I have a degree in music, and
Really?
yeah, I was working as an audio engineer in recording studios and how do you call that? Place where there's live shows.
Yeah.
Why can I think of the name? Um,
Like a venue?
yeah, that's it. So I was an audio engineer, was working every day a lot, and I was coming home alone. It was kind of a depressing couple of years, and what I had was gaming because when you're working in this type of work, you work very late at night, so your social life kind of goes away. So I ended up pretty much alone, and I had Persona 3 and 4 and
Yeah.
Tales of Symphonia, and I've played a bunch of JRPG in that period of time, and it's man, it's gonna be cringe, but the social link in the Persona games were kind of like my friends at that time.
I mean, you're not gonna feel any cringe from me, man. I still feel a kinship with Max Payne, and always will in the heart of my soul.
Yeah, it's coping mechanism,
Yeah.
I guess. But so that one time, 2006, 2007, very hard years, but God, I was thankful for my PS2. Because this is what I had,
I have to divert from the gaming questions for just a second. What do you play musically? I'm so interested in this because we actually do put some music out on the channel. It's all my brothers, not because just because nobody else gives us music. You know what I mean? But I find that stuff very interesting. Do you actually play like an instrument?
Yeah, I play. I majored in guitar. Was
Okay.
playing classical guitar, but of course, once you play classical guitar, you can play
Right.
any guitar you want. Played a bit of piano, some violin, bass. This is pretty much it, I think.
I love violin music. I love it so much.
Yeah, I'm not very good. I don't even have a violin at home, but it's been years now.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna put you on the spot. Be like, hey,
no,
play us some violin real quick.
Yeah, forget that. I can't. But during my school years, I was playing violin.
That's really interesting.
But guitar is my instrument, and I recorded like maybe 100 songs, and I did that pretty much by myself. I had some years where I had some musician with me. We were doing shows and stuff, but I mostly worked alone. And I think this is why you were talking in the beginning of how I tried to cover some niche games and games made by very, very small teams, sometimes one person. And I think this is why I know what it is to create something alone.
Yeah.
And when I see a game made by one person, lately I got to play After Place, which is made by Ivan Kais. He made the music, the art, the programming, everything. And I'm really drawn to those things because I know what it is to create something by yourself. You have to do, when you do music, I had to do everything, all the instruments, all the mixing and mastering, and, the design of the disc, the cover. And, yeah, I'll send you a link. I have a bunch of songs on Bandcamp.
Please do. I'll tell you right now.
It's not all good. Be aware. But there's some. I'll point you to some of things I think are very good.
Look, I
like.
I'm knee deep in projects right now, like absolutely knee deep in projects. But I am always looking for original music, just because of the copyright stuff on YouTube. Makes things just a nightmare. So like all the music we use comes from my brother, which I love my brother's music, but I would love to have some more variation in music. And I don't know why I'm talking to you about this during the interview, but
it's fine.
But I would love to find some stuff that I could make videos out of, even use it for like theme songs and stuff. We'll have to talk about this later, because I love putting stuff like that out there, and that's something that I really like to do on my channel, is find stuff that like nobody else, like somebody made with art that nobody gets to see, and put it out there for people to see. I mean, it's not a ton of people, but you know what I mean? Like, at least you get to see it here. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to move back to the YouTube stuff. I
had another one.
Shit, I forgot about that. I'm sorry. Yeah. I digress. That's me. It's me being a bad interviewer.
Oh, no, it's fine. But I really needed to talk about, in 2016, we had a strike at work. And so I was sent home for quite a few weeks. And I decided to buy a PS4 to play Final Fantasy XIV.
Okay.
And this is where, I'm not super good to speak English stuff, but it was very, very. I mean, I can manage it, but it's kind of hard.
Do you mind me asking? I've always kind of been curious. I wasn't gonna ask until unless it came up organically. But do you mind me asking where you're from and where that accent's from?
Yeah, I'm from Quebec, Canada. I am
cool.
I am one of those nasty French Canadian people. So, seriously, we're not very liked online. So,
I got no problems with French Canadian people whatsoever. I knew you lived in Canada. I just wasn't sure that you were actually French Canadian. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool.
And so, but I was really, really bad, and I played Final Fantasy XIV and met some wonderful people. People one of them, Katsuya, she was called. Well, she's still called that, but we even gave each other addresses to send some Christmas boxes to each other. And we were talking every day, all the time, every evening. And this is where I, got better with that, because where I live, I never need to speak English,
Right.
Never.
Right.
I listen to English stuff a lot, but I never speak, and speaking is a whole other thing than listening to it. So this is where, and this is a very important, 2016 to 2019 or so. My Final Fantasy 14 years were very important for me in gaming because I've met some very, very nice people. My profile picture
Yeah.
that you see right now is
Yeah,
made
tell us
by
about
that
that.
Tsuya person. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this is a recreation in an anime version of my Villagers and Heroes character.
Oh,
This
that's
is
awesome.
another MMO I've played. Yeah, and she made that for me, and it became kind of my, my internet picture. I use it everywhere all the time.
Does she do
So-
commissions?
She did back then. I would have to ask if she wants to do them again.
Always need.
I know
artists.
she did.
Well,
Yeah, she's very good. Yeah.
that is awesome. I tell everybody one of the coolest things about this channel, like of all the things, is the crazy amount of cool people I've met from literally all walks of life. Not just yourself, who is a French Canadian, you know what I mean, game enthusiast. But I've got people from Britain who I talk to, Danny Wharton and Terry Shakespeare, which is kind of really cool. And then you get all these weird culture shock things. I got people in the middle of the country and people on the East Coast, and it's just so cool to meet all these just wild and crazy personalities, and they all have that in common, So that's really cool.
Internet can be amazing. Yeah.
It can be. It really can be. Sometimes
Yes.
it's not. It can be evil, but it can be really amazing. It really is. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all
I'm
right.
done now with
No,
the,
you're
with the
fine.
question. I'm done.
I digressed on that one and forgot that you had said that you had too. I'm glad you took me back because that's a really cool story. Both of those were really cool. All right, so the YouTube channel. You decided to do the YouTube channel. You're already up to 285 subscribers, which I got to be honest, your growth rate dwarfs mine by leaps and bounds, which is awesome. How has that experience been for you? Have you enjoyed that? Like, I do love we've talked about this a little bit. Obviously, you like to seek out the more niche games, which I think is really cool. A lot of Apple Arcade stuff that I would never even know about if I didn't see them on your channel. But how has that experience of just doing the YouTube channel and getting to do the podcast and all that stuff been?
Yeah, I know I'm late on the podcast. And scheduling stuff is a nightmare, I'm going to tell you. This is really hard to find a moment to do it.
You're preaching to the choir there, man.
Yeah, I admire your how you do them every week. And I'm very glad, I'm very grateful for that because it's really a blessing to listen to you while I work. Because the librarian work, I like it. But, I need some podcasts to listen to because this is not the most exciting job ever.
You work at a library?
Yeah, I actually
Oh,
work
that's
in
cool.
an office. I'm doing some, cataloging stuff, subject headings and, man, I don't have any vocabulary, English vocabulary for my work. This is super
cool,
hard.
though. It's cool.
Basically, I'm doing some data managing for the library.
Okay.
I'll put it that way.
That's cool. That's absolutely cool.
And I listen to a bunch of YouTube stuff. I love YouTube.
Yeah.
So
Same here.
This is what. And your podcast every Wednesday morning. I'm looking for them. They drop like at 9:00 for me. So listen to that.
I appreciate that. I very much appreciate that. I asked you about your YouTube channel, and you somehow plugged mine.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, I know it's hard. Discoverability is kind of hard. If you don't want, because how it started. Let's just do a quick. The thing, I was playing this cross-platform MMO, Villagers and Heroes, and I was on the Discord, and I was asking, hey, there's nothing online. There was 2 videos on the game, and they were like the worst MMO ever, or man, this MMO is bad. And I was like, hey, I like this MMO.
Yeah.
Somebody, please.
There's a lot of
do
people who like it.
something.
Yeah.
You know, one of you English-speaking people do videos about villagers and heroes. You can, God, I'm making all my videos with my phone. I'm not even touching a PC. It's so easy to make videos nowadays. So, I mean, I know my editing skills are pretty rough, but
So are mine.
you know, you can still do videos. It's very easy. So I was asking people, I've asked for months, like, please, somebody do something. And nobody was doing anything. And so one day I say, okay, fuck it, I'm doing it. So I did a video, and, you know, it's been my most viewed video, and I have 16K views for this video, and I'm not super, but I'm not very glad about it, because I was talking about, okay, well, I'm gonna do it then, and somebody told me, hey, you should start the video saying like, hello kittens, and I accepted that. And so my most popular videos on my channel start with hello kittens. This is crazy, man. You know, I look like a furry person. This is, man, if I could edit that, I would, but
I'm gonna tell you right now. You just named the episode. It's definitely gonna be called "Hello Kittens." Yeah, I can't take that back. That's amazing. That has just made my day. Hello Kittens, like that is.
Yep, this is exactly how the video starts. But so I did some video, and it worked very good, because here's the thing. I think you have two avenues on YouTube for some growth, and I'm not. You know, I have a very, very small YouTube channel, but I can see stuff. I can look at bigger channels, and it's either clickbait with you know, big boobs, or you know, the O face with, oh my God, you won't believe this.
Yeah, and then it turns out to be very believable.
Yep. So, or what I do is try to find some games that nobody talks about. And so once people search about it, there's only my videos on it. If you type After Place right now on YouTube, there's nothing. There's my video, and this is pretty much it. So,
I mean, I could second that. I've had some success with big name reviews, but overall, when I do a review, if I do it about a game that has no reviews out there but has a little buzz, then those
you're gonna get them all.
Yeah,
you're gonna get all the views.
Take right off. Yep.
And honestly, you don't have to be good. You have to be the first.
Yep.
It's depressing. It really
is. It is.
But this is true. You know, one day I came home and there was an update for Bloodstained, a new zone. It's, you know, you can go through it in 15 minutes. And cool. And no mic, nothing, no camera, nothing like that. Just plugged it in, streamed that on YouTube, and I got 1,000 views in, I don't know, 3 days. Because I was the first. Nobody had covered. It has just dropped like in few, you know, like 2 hours before, and it was super low effort, and I got quite a bit of views. I mean, 1,000 is nothing when you compare to the big channel, but for mine, it's a lot. You know?
We hit 1,000 on one of our videos. It's like everybody's going out for drinks. I totally get it. I had another. I'm having another YouTuber on this show. I actually already recorded his interview. But that's something I said to him. I don't remember if I said it on air or not. But like, if you're doing this to get the views and to get the likes and the subscribers, then you're doing it for the wrong reason, and you're always going to be sad. Like, you gotta want to do it right off the bat, regardless of whatever anybody like clicks or likes, and then if they come, thumbs up, you know.
Yes, exactly. This is not my job. This will never be my job.
All right.
I just like video games, and I like to talk about video games, and you know,
right.
This is pretty much all. I started because nobody was covering Villagers and Heroes, got some views, liked it, and started covering other games.
Well, if anybody is interested in Villagers and Heroes, he is still the only place you could really find coverage of that game. I did try it. It was not for me, not because I think it's
fine.
the worst game ever. It's just it's a MMO, and I am that kind of model drives me nuts. So I can't, which is weird because I'm a very games as service guy, but just the hot bar, like whacking at something, like I can't.
Oh yeah, it's slow. It's very old school.
Yeah.
You have to.
It's very World of Warcraft. Kind of yeah. And no, I had no problems with it, like functionality or anything like that. It wasn't for me. It was all. But okay, well, we've come to my final question here, Will. I ask everybody this question. I'm very excited to see your answer here. If there's a developer out there right now making the absolute bar none perfect gaming experience for William Hohen, YouTube star, what is that game? What does it look like? What is it?
Oh man, it's kind of in the same vein of my favorite game ever.
I hate this question too, Zach.
Yeah, I hate all the questions. Why are you asking me all this question, man? I didn't came here to get questions. No, it's a side scroller. First thing, it's a side scroller. This is really my type of games. Man, I've been playing so many roguelikes lately, and
really?
I feel like a hypocrite because I told you like 2 podcasts ago, enough with roguelikes. We've had enough. Stop making. And this is the only thing I'm playing for the past 2 weeks.
I get it. I mean, if they're good, I'm all right with them. It's just, it seems like every experience is that. That's my problem. It's like, I don't want all games to become roguelites for a while, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, so it's a side scroller.
Okay.
It's a handmade map. It's not procedurally generated, but of course there's a randomizer in it that will shuffle the map, and there's both. But there's an experience with a story and with a fixed map, and there's a bunch of treasures to find. There's no when you touch an enemy and you get damage, there's not that.
Ooh.
I don't like
I
that.
like that. I like the fact that it gets rid of that. That's something I've always hated too.
Yeah, Bloodstain is doing this, and I don't like that.
All those old Castlevanias did too.
Yes, and this is not something I like. But it is what it is. There's no perfect game. This is why I'm trying to describe mine, because it doesn't exist.
I never got that. I was always like, well, what is he made out of acid? What, like, he didn't swing his sword. Why am I just immediately losing life for bumping into him?
Yeah, I don't know. If you go look online, there's a bunch of people that are actually very advocating for that.
I hate that.
Yeah, I hate that too. I guess to each their own. It's whatever. There's no perfect game. You have to accept the how the game is.
Right.
But yeah. So that. What else? How would it look like? That's a good question. I like some, gritty games, but on the other hand, I think. Do you know Bastion, the game from Super?
Oh, that game's amazing. That's one of the only games I've 100%ed. I can't believe you said that. I mention that game all the time to people, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "How do you not know Bastion? It's one of the coolest, most artistic games." And that narrator. My
narrator,
wife,
the music, man. This is
My wife would actually sit behind me and be like, "That narrator's voice is cool." I'm like, "I know."
yeah, he's so good.
Yeah,
and this is, you were talking earlier about your 5-6 games. Bastion is one of mine.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games. I really like Bastion, and I like how you can customize the difficulty with the how do they call that? The totems. The
Yeah.
yeah, you can activate them or not.
I do wish that Bastion had some procedural generation at the very
Yes,
end.
of course.
Because
yes.
like I 100%ed it. It would be one of my island games, other than the fact that I literally have seen every inch of that game. Like, so like it's kind of like,
and it took you
give me a reason to go back in, you know.
Yeah, and you 100% did it in what, 40 hours max, probably less than that.
Yeah.
So
Did you ever play Hades?
yes, I played it, but
Didn't like?
it's
the same guys.
Yes, I know it's them, and this is why I bought it. And I like the narration. I like how it looks a lot. I like how it plays. I think it's the roguelike aspect of it that I didn't vibe with.
I felt like it was the sheer number of times I had to go through, because I played it a lot. I got got out once, and then I found out that you had to do it like 1,000 more times to really get the good ending, and I'm like, I don't know if I can commit to doing those same levels over and over that many times.
Yeah, but I was in my rebellious phase, against roguelike, so maybe I should try it again.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't dislike it, just didn't vibe with it as much as Bastion.
Well, Will.
So yeah,
I gotta say, this has been absolutely wonderful to get to know you better on the channel. And I gotta say another thing, I really do this for the people who are into it, and you are one of the people who are into it. And I just want to say right now, thank you, because every time you comment on one of our videos or listen, it gives us a reason to get out of bed and do it again, the next week. So I really appreciate you as a viewer, as a listener, as a fan.
If you're true to your words, you're kind of fucked, because at the end of every episode you're saying, as long as you keep watching and listening, we'll keep making them. And so you're kind of fucked, because you have to keep making them, because I will watch them and comment on every of them for the rest of my life. So you're kind of, you're either a liar and you will stop even if people are watching and listening, or you're stuck doing this for the rest of your life. So
congratulations, Will. That. I don't think anybody's ever taken me hostage with my own words before. But well done, sir. Well done. Is there anything special you want to plug before we let you go?
Every Wednesday morning, tune in for Old Man Gaming Podcast. This is what I want to plug.
That's what you want to plug?
Come to my channel, of course. Come look at my indie videos, but I don't have anything to really plug.
Yes, go check out Will's channel. It's wonderful. I'm not going to pressure you, because I know what pressure is like, but I anxiously await for the return of Not the Fuck Podcast. Go back and listen to old episodes of it. It's a phenomenal podcast. I love it. I love the fact that the title of the show is a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's just genius to me, because you literally say the word you're not saying in just introducing it. It's great.
Yes, and in the new YouTube rules, I will never get monetized. So
I decided a while ago,
don't care about that.
If I get enough people to worry about monetization, I'll just start a Patreon, and you guys can decide how much money I deserve for this bullshit that I put up on the internet.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't really care.
And that way I don't have to have all the weird YouTube ads and stuff in there that I want nothing to do with. All right. Well, we definitely got to go.
It's enough. You're right. Enough of that.
So, no, thank you for being on. We appreciate it, man. And thank you for taking me hostage. I love all the fans who listen and give me a reason to do this. And I will say to everybody out there, I will be back with another interview. I have 2 more people scheduled. I don't know which order they're going to be in. I knew this one was going to be the first, and that's all I know. So we will be back with one of them. And hopefully stay tuned.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, everybody. So my next guest, I'm very excited about this. He is a little bit, I don't want to say new to the community, but he is more of a recent join, but he has his own YouTube channel, which has been growing actually faster than ours has, if you could believe it. He does a lot of great shows on that with a buddy named Gibby and by himself. He does a lot of simulator stuff, as well as, personally, my favorite playthrough of A Way Out. But Bloody Nose, welcome to the show.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Bloody Nose here. Welcome to Old Man Gaming's podcast. And what's up, guys?
Yes, welcome. I'm really happy to have you. I'm really happy to have you because you I don't know. It's one thing that's cool about YouTube and the experience that at least I've had so far is you end up meeting a lot more people and becoming weirdly friends with them out of nowhere, you know. And I think that's something that came from us too, and I just enjoy that when we get people in, and then I get the chance to do this and get to know people. But Bloody Nose has a great YouTube channel. Right now on the screen, you're seeing his logo in place of him. He's audio only right now, but you can actually see at the top of the screen his web address for his YouTube channel. Please go check him out. He does some really cool stuff, and we're going to talk more about his YouTube stuff. But you've got to be subjected to the standard run-of-the-mill questions that I ask everybody, the silly ones, if you will. I know you're new to the channel. We've done these interview shows before, and I like to get in with the community members, but the first thing I like to ask everybody is, what was your first gaming experience? What was the first game you played? What was the first time you were like, ooh, video games, I'm in, you know?
Oh my goodness. We go way back in the day, the PlayStation 2.
All right.
And it's going to be the first Spider-Man game that was made from the first, the Tobey Maguire movies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was my first video game that I played. And I still remember some of the missions just like free roaming around, swinging in the city. And man, it's nostalgia. So
that was a phenomenal game. Game. Good choice. I gotta call you out on the way back in the day. My first game was on the Nintendo Entertainment System. So yours was like while I was in my 20s. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 was great. That was a free roaming Spider-Man game. I love that game. That was a cool game. That's a good first pick though. That's a good just the free roaming was great. Great.
Just the free roaming. I didn't understand because I think back then I was like 6, 7 years old. So really, like story mode wise, I wasn't into it. I was just doing my own thing around the city.
Right.
As much as the game would let me. Because back then, open world games were very, I guess, limited in where you could go.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, even then, like as a kid, I didn't really pay attention to that. I was just like, oh my god, I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah, and gaming was a very different beast back in the PlayStation 2 and those sort of eras. Now it's like if a AAA game comes out without like 200 hours of content, it's considered a failure somehow. But back then it was like if you got a 2-hour story, you were happy,
Oh yeah, definitely.
But an open world game, that was one of the first, honestly. Probably like GTA 3 was a little bit before that, and that was it. All right, so now we go on to the next silly question. I hope you're ready for this. What is your all-time favorite game, any game ever? You pick it up, you play, you're a happy man.
Oh, man. All-time, single-player, multiplayer, doesn't matter? Or?
Does not matter. Any game.
Matter.
If you say Candy Crush, you're fine. I mean, people may lose respect for you, but I will totally be okay with it.
So here, I guess I'll break it up into 3 different categories here. I'll give you mobile game.
Okay, all right.
Single player game, and I'll give you a multiplayer game.
Okay.
So, mobile game, I have to go with Clash of Clans.
Okay, all right.
To this day, I think that game dropped back in 2013, and to this day, I'm still, leader of my clan and active on it daily. So,
wow.
I know it's had its ups and downs in the past, but we're still going strong.
if a mobile game can get you that deep, that's a win in itself. You know, like I can only think of like 3 mobile games that have gotten me that deep, and honestly, some of them I don't play now, so I guess it didn't get me that deep.
Well, I mean, I guess also, wink, wink. You know, I am also a couple of $100 into the game, so
that'll keep you around.
Microtransactions, yeah, they kept me around.
That'll keep you around. I get that. Okay, so mobile. What's your other ones then? You had other categories. I want to hear them.
So single player game. I guess now playing by myself, or let me rephrase that. Out playing with myself, playing by myself. I'm getting into the simulation world, like car mechanic simulator, gas station simulator, the one that you had recommended me about, the outer space one where you're like salvaging.
Oh yeah, hard space shipbreaker. Yeah.
Yep. Haven't got a chance to check it out yet, but it's kind of like piqued my interest, if you will.
That one is really good. I really enjoy it, and it's one of those that I play so many games that it's hard to stick with all the games that I'd like to stick with, but it's one of those that I regret not being able to stick with it. Also, Lawnmower Simulator. I love mowing the lawn, man. I love mowing the lawn. I don't know what to tell you.
And I'm not gonna lie, when I present that game to like my group of friends, they're like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "You know what? Yeah, I am serious. If this game goes on sale, I see myself purchasing it. I see myself putting a couple hours into it. Yeah, I'm getting big into the simulation world now.
Yeah. So that's really cool. I do like simulation games. I think that especially when you find that thing, because when I'm in real life. My favorite thing about buying a house was the lawn that I'd get to mow, and my wife is just like, "You are a fucking lunatic. Why? That's the worst part about it." And people are like, "You gonna get a riding mower?" And I was like, "No, I'm not a punk. I'm gonna get a push mower. I'm gonna cut tight lines because that's how I roll." And and then when a game came out, I was like, "Yeah, I want to do that." The simulation games they're fun. They're fun. They're interesting. I think you'll love Heartbreaker because it's one of those where it's like the simulation, but it feels like a simulation game with the sci-fi element to it, and it kind of it's just a perfect marriage, in my opinion. All right. Okay. Well, now I'm going to ask you probably our deepest question on the list. So name a time when gaming has had a very positive impact on your life. Maybe it helped you through a rough time. Maybe it allowed you to meet someone special to you. Maybe it something along those lines. Name a time when gaming, really had a positive impact in your life.
I guess, essentially it was my childhood.
Okay.
Growing up, I did have friends or whatever, and I guess I would consider myself the normal kid. I would go to the park every so often, but I guess it was after it got dark, my parents were kind of like, all right, be home before dark, and I always abided by their rules, right? So when I got home, it would be like, okay, so now what do I do? And it was through those group of friends that I got into gaming, because we would be the night squad. We would be playing video games all night till 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah, that's cool.
I guess it was not really got me through a hard part of my life. I guess it kind of just became part of my life, if you will.
That's awesome. That's a perfect answer. And I promise that's as heavy as we're going to get. I like to ask one. That's my one heavy one that I like to ask everybody. All right, well, let's shift gears. Let's talk about your YouTube channel a little bit. I have one more silly question, but I always save it for the end. Okay. So let's talk about your YouTube channel. first of all, how long have you been doing YouTube? If I recall correctly, you're relatively new. You've got a big subscriber count. I think it's actually bigger than me already, which is amazing. I mean, it's not amazing. We make terrible content on my channel, but
nah, never that.
but yeah, you've done really great for yourself. What made you want to get into YouTube and do it?
So I guess essentially, what you don't know is this is actually my rebirth, if you will.
Okay.
I actually attempted YouTube back in 2013 as, you know, a little kid, a squeaker, right?
Right. Right.
Back then, I think it was on the PS3. I didn't have, like, I guess the recording software back then was an Elgato, like a capture card.
Okay.
I didn't have, you know, I guess my family didn't have a lot of money, the most money in the world, so I had to make do with what I had. So I would grab, I think it was like my iPhone 4, or I think an iPod or something. I would grab it, set it up in front of the TV, and just start recording Grand Theft Auto 4 multiplayer. And I mean, you couldn't see anything with the quality. You would just hear my speaker voice laughing in the background. I mean, I thought it was cool. I thought it was funny. I would go into private matches on Call of Duty, and I don't know if you know, but in Call of Duty, once you hit a certain kill streak, you would get a nuclear bomb. And I would go in there in a private match and just kill my friend 24 times, get a nuclear bomb on him. Be like, oh, look, exposed, got a nuclear bomb on this guy. So, I mean, that was back then. And then as I got older, grew up in my teenage years, it kind of, you know, fell to the back burner. And I was like, you know, YouTube is there. It's cool. I mean, back then we're talking I only had like 50, 60 subs.
Right.
I got back into it.
Still nothing to scoff at. Put 60 people in a room. You know what I mean? That's
right.
Still a good achievement. Everybody who thinks a low count is bad, man, think about how many people that would be if you tried to get them in the same place. You know.
That's true. And I guess that's the viewpoint that I need to, I guess, take into consideration now. I mean, now we're talking, what, over 1,000 subs on my channel. I'm like, holy crap, this thing is actually going.
You're killing it. Yeah, you're killing it. Yeah, you're definitely killing it. You're definitely killing it.
I guess now I took it more seriously in, I think, August of last year, August of 2022, is when I was like, you know what? I have a channel. It has 100 subs. But let me go into it for a year and see what happens. So we're not at the year mark yet since I came back, and we're over 1,000 subs. So
that's pretty good. I mean, 1,000 is well on its way to partnership program if you got there in 1 year. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty sweet. Try to remember us when you get big, man.
Oh man, definitely. No, I'm not gonna go Hollywood on everybody.
So that's awesome. That's awesome that you brought back to it, came back. It was a lot harder to YouTube when you were younger too. Like, YouTube was a very different beast as far as uploading and having that stuff. Do you do all your recording on the console?
I do. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
wow.
have a capture card, so whatever I could grab with Sony, I export it, throw it on my laptop, and start editing away.
Okay, so you do. Yeah, I was wondering. That was going to be my next question. Like, how do you edit it? Because I know your videos are edited.
Yeah. No, record everything on the console, raw footage, if you will, and just throw it into the computer and start chopping it away.
How do you do the audio for it with your buddy? I'm just interested at this point. Sorry, everybody out there. I know it's going to be inside baseball for a second, but I'm very interested.
Oh, no, and honestly, I mean, if you could give me the same feedback with this PC world stuff, because I'm really, really new to that also. It's like I know a certain world, you know another. So, I mean, we can throw it around ideas and spitball.
Definitely.
It definitely helps out. No, through the console, when you record, I guess your friend has to allow his voice to be shared also. And it picks up, whoever's in your party, if you will. And that's how you're able to record. The console does everything now.
That's amazing. That's amazing, because so if you don't mind me talking a little bit, back in the day when we first started, and I didn't mean that like you're talking too much. It's your interview. But back in the day when we first started recording, we recorded on Xbox, and we were recording on Xbox One, and the way I had to do it, if you can go back and watch those old, On the Hut was big for this. Same with our Borderlands 330 series, which is many years old, does not really get views anymore. But what we would have to do, if I was playing with somebody else, is I would have to record the stuff with my Xbox, which you could record to a flash drive if you did special things with it, which I did. But to record the audio, I would literally have to, because I'd have to party up with him on my headset on the Xbox, but the Xbox doesn't record the audio of me talking to whoever I'm talking to. So I would have to build this little like box pyramid next to myself where I was playing.
Oh man!
And I would put
sound around you.
Yeah, well, it's not even that. I would put my phone on the top of the box pyramid with a MP3 recording app, and then I would tell the other person on the other line they have to do the same, and then we'd have to start it at the same time. And then I had a Dropbox folder, and they'd have to put that in there, and then and heaven forbid if we're using their footage too, I would have to take all 4 footages and then somehow sync them up in editing. It was a nightmare.
Oh my goodness. That gives me flashbacks of 2013 Bloody Nose, where I told you I would put up, I think the first iPod Touch that came out in front of my TV and put my headset next to the iPod and, ask my friends when they speak up loud, because that would turn my headset to max volume. You can imagine the potato quality on that.
Right. Yeah, I think we pulled it off kind of okay sometimes, which every time I go back and listen to it, I'm like, I know how this was recorded. I don't know how this sounds okay. Like, I just don't know how this sounds okay. And then I have to mix it in post because his phone would record at a completely different volume than my phone would record at. So when you synced it up, it'd be like, one guy would be like, yeah, we got to go over here. And then it'd be me like, yeah, let's go over here. And it's just like, it was just a freaking nightmare.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I mean, that's one thing about PC that's nice. I put it all into a program. It records everything. And then I just have to chop it. That's all. Got to chop it up.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's really cool that you're honestly, it's really cool you got that many subs just recording on a console too. That's like,
right.
That's an achievement in itself, man. You should be really proud of that. What's your experience on YouTube been so far, especially on this rebranding? Like, from what I see on the comments, everybody seems to really support your stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that, I mean, I guess it makes you feel good inside too, where it's like, oh my god, the people are actually giving me positive feedback as opposed to, oh, this video's trash, or oh, what the hell is this, or
right. Right. Yeah, it's so nice.
It's nice. It's positive feedback, and it motivates you to keep on going. And honestly, with the YouTube thing, I feel like it's all, I guess, what's the word for it? When you have I guess when you're going full speed at it, it's important not to lose momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you lose momentum, you're like, I'll release a video in a couple of days. And then those couple of days turn into a week.
Yeah.
I'll release a video next week. Oh, when was my last video? 2 weeks ago? I think I'm still okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess when you're grinding away, if you will, it's important to keep that momentum. I mean, I guess I'm over here hypocritical about it because I think my last video was 2 weeks ago. But I mean, it's important to keep the momentum, and I need to, I guess, check myself on that also.
I mean, sometimes you need a break, and anybody in the world who could tell you that, it's me. When I got into this heavy, it was like, we've got to put out a piece of content every day of the week for all of the year. And while I will give to myself that I put out just an astronomical amount of content for what our channel and the support that we actually have is, I definitely have cut back, just because there's got to be points where you're like, okay, I need to actually just play a game with the idea of just playing a game for myself.
Like, it's not so content driven, like, and that's why I'm with in my head too. Sometimes now it's like, am I playing to make content, or am I playing so I could enjoy my time playing video games? Like, what is video games to you, kind of thing,
Yeah, it gets in your head, and it does mess with you a little bit. And I've had those moments where I'm like, why am I playing this game? Because
I can honestly see how, I guess, bigger YouTubers out there, why they get an editor and why they do these things, because I mean, at one point it could get tiring seeing, I mean, editing yourself, if you will, right?
Oh, the editing can get insane. And I said, my editing has actually gotten easier as I've gotten more technically sophisticated. But I definitely remember back in the day, because when we were doing those crazy recordings, that's when we were like, every day we had something coming out. And it was like, every night I would go downstairs and I'd spend 2 hours editing shows. And it was like, and I like editing. I love editing. I'm one of the few people I know in this business who's like, I'm sorry, I always belch in a podcast. I drink too much fizzy water, man, I tell you. But I'm one of the guys I'm one of the few YouTubers who are like, I like editing. I enjoy it. I like putting it together and seeing how it comes out. And I like the challenges when we do crazy stuff. We had one video in our Monster Hunter series a long time ago where we had to both be playing at the same time, and you had to see both of our screens. And I was like, I don't know how to do split screen. And that was kind of like the challenge of figuring out how to make that work so that you could like watch it, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that completely. And it's all about, I guess, I experienced the same thing too last year when I did, I think from October to mid-December, I had a video every single day. That was in between 30 minutes to an hour long. And editing that, I'm like, holy crap, like,
yeah.
this is better be worth something. Because I mean, one thing is, for me, I could go back and watch a series, but I'm like, damn.
I gotta say, if I'm complimenting anything too, off topic, anything on your channel, dude, your thumbnail game is tight, man. I'm gonna say that right now. It's our biggest weakness on the channel. I just don't do thumbnails well. I can't go back and like after I've edited a full show, I can't then also edit a picture. I just can't. It's like one bridge too far. I don't know why. Yeah. But your thumbnail game is amazing. But yeah, like it does. It gets in you. It's hard to like. It's hard, and you have to find a balance in this. And honestly, I shouldn't even be giving you advice because again, I have 353 subscribers, and I've had 300 and some subscribers for the last year, so we're much slower of growers, but yeah, like you're doing amazing. You just you always have to find that balance. It's tough. It's real tough,
man. And I guess another thing is like you have to be, and it sucks to say it, but sometimes I guess be willing to go on, I guess, video game trends, if that makes sense, or it just depends on what you're trying to like. Me, it's video games. Games that are always popular, games that are upcoming, that are hot right now. For example, Hogwarts Legacy. I have people that I didn't even know existed making already videos about the game, and I'm like, the game hasn't even come out. I'm like, damn, am I behind? So
our best videos on our channel are well, one of the best videos we have on our channel are our reviews. And man, whenever a game comes out and I can't get a hold of it, I'm like, that's 50 views right there I'm missing out on that I could get. I will say there is some weird like anti-logic to things too. Like certain games just, like I've been streaming the same 3 games for a while now. Dead by Daylight just always gets an amazing, like I streamed it just for like an event around Halloween. I wasn't going to keep streaming it, but it always gets 50 views, which is high for me. So like
I feel like games like that, games are those that are ageless, if you will. Anything that's like that, horror games, I feel like are kind of ageless too. You know, zombies. Everybody's gonna want zombies. You know, 5 years ago to the present day to 5 years from now. Things like that are ageless. Wrestling is ageless too, and I think that's how I found you, if I remember correctly. I found you through a WWE video.
Yeah. We definitely connected on the wrestling, if I recall correctly, because I was doing 2K22 stuff.
Coming to find out, a couple of months later, we both played Dead by Daylight. I'm like, oh, this is a small world after all.
I guess when I first started watching you, you were doing the battle royales with the weird created characters, which was
created characters and see what happened.
which was still fun to watch. All right. Well, we do need to start wrapping this up. But so I'm going to move to the last silly question. And you can get as long-winded as you want with this, as short-winded as you want with this. But I'd love to ask everybody I have on this.
Oh, gosh.
If there's no, it's not would you rather. Don't worry. It's nothing crazy. If somebody out there, if a developer out there is making your perfect game, like your absolute perfect top to bottom game, what does that game look like? What is that game?
I'd want something realistic.
Okay.
So think Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
And I guess to get personal with it, I'm a big sports junkie.
Okay.
Basketball, football.
Nothing wrong with that.
Grand Theft Auto, but you're an athlete to the point where you could play actual, sports games in it.
Oh, okay. Like a little bit more centered on the simulation than the normal sports games nowadays.
Yep, and I guess it loops and comes full circle again with now I'm getting big into the simulation world, and I'm kind of like, I'm liking this thing, man. So
that's an awesome thing. It's weird about gaming when your tastes change. You can feel it. You know what I mean? When you're like all of a sudden, oh, this used to be the thing that I loved. I don't love this anymore. We have a guy on the channel, Philbilly, who, I mean, a lot of our subs came from him because he'd do build videos for Borderlands, and those always hit hard. They just always do.
Another ageless game, Borderlands. Yep.
Ageless. You can play, and you could go back to 1 or 2, and if you make a decent build video for that, you're gonna get 1,000 views easy. But he used to do builds videos for those, and now Borderlands is kind of dead for him in a lot of ways, and he has moved on to CRPGs, which are like turn-based RPGs, which I never would like. Knowing what I know about the dude when I met him to today, he never would have played that. It's just like he slowly changed into that, and I gaming will do that to you. It really does that to you a lot. Well, Bloody Nose, man, I really appreciate you being here and being on the channel. I definitely want to have you on the podcast. Actually, be on the podcast with us for a whole show. And we'll definitely collaborate on more things unless you get too big and cannot be seen with us. Man. Which I will understand. I'll understand, man.
Everybody in the back. I'll always be around. I'll always remember where I came from. I won't forget my first video, if you will, where I'm a guest. Shout out Old Man Gaming,
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Definitely, and going back to Dead by Daylight, but I think I like to think by myself I'm pretty boring. I guess most of the comedy from those videos comes to shout out to Gibby and Gimmick Gaming.
Yes, we should have talked about Gibby a little bit. Gibby's gonna be mad. He's gonna be really mad. I'm gonna get more very weird responses on Discord. I don't want Gibby. You're great. You're very funny, guys. Bloody Nose usually plays with Gibby Gaming, who is hysterical. And honestly, at some point, I'll probably interview him if I can pin him down.
Gibby he's a strange fellow. I'll put it that way.
You're a quality Dead by Daylight player. I do want to say that. I watched you play, and just as a survivor, I would be nervous to play against you. Like, I've often wanted to do, like, a community day where I play the killer and people in my community play survivors, but, like, I'm afraid that you would get in there and make me look like a punk real quick.
No. When I see you playing killer, I'm like, all right, this guy doesn't commit to the chase. And when he does, he shoots somebody across the map. I'm like, how the hell did he hit that shot?
I don't think I could ever switch off Death Slinger because I've caught too many people teabagging with it. When they teabag right before they exit. I know this is inside baseball for on the show, but any Dead by Daylight fans will understand when they go to teabag right before they leave and I peg them with a spear and drag them halfway across the map. just makes my day. Makes my day. I know I'm not gonna get them because they're gonna get off and run. But like when I drag them, it's like I'm just having a conversation. Like maybe you should rethink your life choices, friend. You know, it's great. All right. Well, like I said, Bloody Nose. You guys can check him out on YouTube. He has great videos. If I may recommend one, watch the No Way Out playthrough he does with Gibby, start to finish. It is comic genius from start to finish, and definitely watch his Dead by Daylight. And they're not montage. Why do I think compilation?
Compilations, yep.
Yeah, okay, compilation. I feel like I'm saying the wrong word, but check those out. Check out everything he has to offer. He's great. And Bloody Nose, thank you so much. I love my community. I love them so much, and I love anytime we have new people come in because everybody they're just so nice here, and they're so supportive. So I really like to do stuff like this with them. So I really appreciate you coming on. I really appreciate you showing love to our channel as well.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Your community is very, very, from what I see on the live streams, you have some loyal subscribers that really, really follow you and like what you're doing. So, don't get discouraged on, 350 something subscribers. You have a community that really backs you, and eventually I think you're going to get what's coming in a good way.
Hey, I decided a long time ago that if I was doing this for the views, I wouldn't be doing it anymore. You know what I mean? Or the subs. Like, this process has been so much more than just the subs. So it's definitely been I'm not a religious man, but a religious experience. You know what I mean? Like, it's been transformative the last 3.5 years working on this channel. So I could have one subscriber still, and I'd probably still be doing this. So, but thank you for being on, Bloody Nose. Thank you for gracing us, and I think you're going to get everything that's coming to you too. You're well on your way to partnership program, and thanks for being on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody else out there, I am not sure how I'm going to edit this together as per se anything that I pre-record. So I will either be back with the plugs and the sign off, or I'll be back with another person to interview. We're doing 3 today, so we will be right back after that.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello. I don't know why I'm about to say my name is Zachariah again, because this is definitely not the first interview that we've done on the show. So I'm not gonna introduce myself 36 times. So I'm back with another interview. It was part of our interview show today. We did 3. We've done 3. We've done Bloody Nose. We've done William Hohen, and now we are doing Grandpa Gamer right here. Grandpa, thanks for joining us, man.
Oh, it's nice to be here.
Yes.
I'm in the car, drove real well. I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to do with my hands.
You're quoting.
nice.
You're quoting. Good start. I love that movie. I love it. It was like I was on a spaceship. Well, welcome. So what I like to do, I like to reach out to people who work, who contribute to the channel, whether it be community members, whether it be people who actually do shows with me. You do a show with me now. Stealth plug, OMG GM. Yes. OMGM, Old Man General Manager. We've been doing it now for a week. The people have been liking it quite a bit. So
like it more.
Find more people to like it.
I quit my job and cater to you people with our matches. The WWE we should have. In fact, you call it WWF.
That's how we started. That's how I started when I started the channel. I was like, this is going to let me quit my job. And like 3 years later, I'm like, I'm just doing this. I'm just doing it.
That's what everybody says.
I'm just trapped in. All right. So I've got a series of questions I ask everybody right off the bat. Okay. The first one is, what is your first game you ever played that you remember playing? Like the first gaming experience that you remember. Like the first time that you were like, oh, gaming. Cool.
See, memory questions are always bad for me. You know that.
Yeah, well, it is an interview.
It comes down...
I have to ask you things about your past so that people can get to know you.
It comes down to either Double Dragon on the Sega Master System, or also, I believe, the Sega Master System. Well, no, there was also Atari, but that doesn't really count.
I mean, it counts if you want it to be.
No. Or what was it? I think it was Shinobi. I don't know if it was like Ninja Gaiden Shinobi or was it just Shinobi?
Shinobi. Yeah, that's a Genesis.
That was the first boss that I ever beat.
So you were a Genesis kid then?
A little bit.
That's good. I was Genesis kid too. All hail Genesis kids, all the way.
The original.
Yeah, the OG.
Yes.
Yeah. OG Genesis. It went downhill after that. Then it kind of came back at Dreamcast, but it was too late and it was already dead. So Shinobi and Double Dragon. Classic beat 'em up, guys. We are fans of beat 'em ups here on this channel. I do a stream about beat 'em ups.
I just remember fucking Shinobi beating the shit out of me.
What was the first boss that you ever?
The first boss was the giant ninja, where you had to hit him right between his eye slits with the ninja stars.
Oh.
And you had to dodge his attacks in between.
That's the first boss? That was a giant ninja?
I don't know if it was the first boss. It was the first boss I ever had to beat. Okay. That I remember still.
They were coming out of the gate with Shinobi.
I was praying all kinds of gods to beat him. And it got so much harder after that.
Those old games were hard because they only had like an hour worth of content, so they needed to make you like play it over and over and over and over again.
And no save points.
Exactly. There's no way for save points. If a game had even that password thing, that's when you knew like you were in trouble. Like, oh, this is so difficult. It gives me a way to like move forward in the game. Oh no, I'm in trouble. Like Contra. And like, I'm fucked. I
wrote that shit down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so number two. Your favorite game of all time. Your one that like your desert island game. Your one that's like, if I could anytime go back to this game, play it, have fun with it, enjoy it. Yeah.
That's a long list.
It's a long. Well,
it always depends on the mood. Yeah. I mean, hell, I had like over 300 hours. And Skyrim. I probably had a couple hundred in the first Fable, even though it was not what we were promised. No, every time.
Yeah, every time it kind of like let us down just a tad. Sorry for that notification noise. I've got the timer, which is my phone, right next to the microphone, and it went off. So Skyrim was good. 300. I not only do I probably have 300 hours, but you would have to add up all the different times I've purchased it, and
I haven't even played half.
Like I bought it on 360, played it forever. Bought it on Xbox One, played it forever. I own it on a computer now.
You know, honestly, I'd probably have to say the game that I could play several ways to Sunday, provided I was in the mood. There'd just be a shout out to CD Red Project. Would have to be The Witcher.
Which one?
Witcher 3. That's honestly the only one I ever played. I heard from Aslium that I wasn't missing a whole lot in 2. 1 was still good. 2 was good, but 3 I played the shit out of. Right. It just needed some more content. I never did play the DLCs, even though I got them. I got sidetracked.
Witcher 3 is a gargantuan game. And like people will be like, have you played the DLC? I'm like, bitch, I ain't even gotten to the end of the game. You crazy? Like, what are you talking about? That's not a game you beat.
My only problem with any RPG style game, listen up, developers,
here we go,
is that everybody's going for the same shit. Release that shit, especially with the online world today. Change it.
Yeah.
I don't want to just change the stats a smidge or just change the look of it. I'm tired of everybody having the same shit. Have actual quests.
Yeah.
And The Witcher was the worst. Witcher 3, and I loved it, but it was terrible because the best stuff in the game you literally could make. All you had to do was find the blueprints.
Oh, yeah.
And me and a lot of other people are avid searchers, so you go to every nook and cranny just for the fun of it. I mean, hell, that's why in Skyrim, I think I rode a horse like maybe twice.
So you're like a loot hunter. Like, you like to find the loot in the games.
I do love me some loot.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't like it when you can make the best stuff, just because it defeats it. It's same with Skyrim, although Skyrim it was so hard to get to a point where you could make those dragon armors. The amount of time that you would have to just be like hammering away on the forge.
And there was always those cheeses.
Smithing up to 100.
Yeah.
It's like
they had the cheeses that, especially with the internet helping now, letting you know them. But I mean, you figure it out too. Like for Witcher, I made an ass ton of easy money just crafting potions or something like that. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And then Skyrim, all you had to do was just get on was it like a simple dagger or something really easy and cheap to make, and you just
keep
pound the
just
shit
pound
out of
away.
it.
It still takes forever though. I didn't have the patience to get 100 smithing. Like I just didn't. Even on characters where I'm like, this character's gonna be a blacksmith, and this is like 70 was his top. Like I couldn't get it higher. All right. So this is the only deep question I ask. This is the only question that goes a little bit like deeper. Might be a little bit more emotional. Name a time when gaming has like helped you either through something or had a deep impact on your life. Something that maybe it allowed you to meet somebody you never would have met beforehand. Like a time that gaming had a tangible impact on your life.
Ooh, I feel penetrated right now. Hope you wore rubber.
If you could never say that on camera.
I can always say.
Or hell, just in my
Whatever I
presence.
Whatever I want. Have you watched The Boys?
I have not watched The Boys.
Wow.
I have a
Homelander.
very limited amount of time. I've told you this before. I have a very limited amount of time to watch TV by myself. And I have to pick and choose. Right now, it's Vox Machina. When I get through
Love
that.
Vox.
Yeah, I'm not liking the second season as much as I thought.
I will say, Homelander, to quote, I do whatever the fuck I want.
Okay.
Look up the clip, you'll find it. You'll laugh.
Okay.
And love. I would say, honestly, tabletop RPGs in general.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not video games.
Hey, man. Take it a different way. We're okay with it.
Tabletops, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
We grew up. I mean, technically, video games started it because it was GoldenEye for us. Mm-hmm. And that branched off into the RPGs and all the nerdisms.
Yeah.
Which went into card games, which went into meeting all kinds of other people.
I will say, I don't know if you guys know this, but myself and Jeremy go back a long way. We actually went to high school together back in the day. We have had our ups and downs as far as friendships go. But we did go to high school together, and we ended up becoming very close. I think in like the junior?
Junior? I want to say it was junior. I don't think it was senior.
I think it was the year before junior. What's the year?
Sophomore?
Sophomore, there it is. There's freshman and junior, and I was like, what was in between it? Sophomore. Because junior is when I dropped out.
Was it?
Yes. Yeah. I got halfway through my junior year, because I got into Mr. Howell's class. I didn't think I was going to. So then I was like, well, I'm gonna go to that class, but it was only a half year class, and then so I dropped out right after that class was done. But this interview isn't about me; it's about you, sir. So yeah, we went back, and am I the reason that you guys all started playing RPGs? Was it me or Kyle? I can't remember because I definitely played it before I met Kyle.
If he's ever watches
I started playing
no offense,
Heights.
Kyle wasn't really a people person either, though.
Kyle was not a people
So I would say it was more you.
No offense to Kyle. I've got no bad blood between him. What? I've got no bad blood between Kyle, but he was definitely a very homebody sort of fellow. Yeah, it was definitely.
I mean, I dabbled before. I had some cousins that played D&D, so I actually did play the actual D&D like once.
I just know you and Johnny were close before that, and I didn't know if he had brought the RPGs. Because I can't remember if he got into RPGs after he started knowing us, or if he was in it beforehand.
I think he was dabbled in it beforehand, but I don't remember really ever playing with him any of that type of stuff until
all right,
your house.
Yeah. It is cool, and we still play today.
I mean, prior to that, it was all video games.
Yes.
And then, the internet was coming around.
Yeah.
Yes, we're that old.
Yeah, we are. Dial-up, baby. Yeah, try to jerk off to dial-up. It's not fun. Waiting for that picture to load. It
helps improve
stamina. I almost see the titty. It helps improve stamina.
Yeah, but the biggest problem you have when you download that picture and you find out it's a dude.
Oh, no. Well, this has gone off the rails. Let's just keep on moving on. All right.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Let's flip the interview.
Okay, flip it.
How much do you make a year after taxes?
On what?
Little stepbrother quote there. No. What was the first system you ever bought?
First system I bought with my own money.
Yes.
That's Sega Dreamcast.
Really?
Yes.
I remember playing that at your house, too.
Yeah, I went out of my way to get the Sega Dreamcast. Everything else I had gotten as Christmas presents, like asking my dad or whatever to get it through Christmas. But the Dreamcast was the first system I bought with my own money that I worked at a job to get. And I remember
it was Zeppies, wasn't it?
Yep, it was Zeppies. It was back when I had just become a manager. and I thought that $750 was a good pay because I was dumb and stupid because I dropped out of high school.
Well, back
staying
then,
school kids
for a manager.
And then I remember I went out to Eastwood Mall when malls. Kids, ask your parents what malls were. Malls. I went out to Eastwood Mall and we went around and I got a Sega Dreamcast. I got Sonic Adventure, and I got this other game, this spy game, and I brought it home and I was really happy with it. Yes.
For me, it was actually the PlayStation 1. And the first RPG game I ever bought.
What's the first one you bought?
I was bought with my own money.
Okay.
First game I got with it, Final Fantasy VII.
I'm sorry. Do you like it?
I love Final Fantasy VII.
I hate Final Fantasy VII. That's a
I
whole
mean,
other debate.
I actually put it in my PS3 at one point, and just to dick around. And oh my god!
Yeah. Going back to those games is real hard.
All right, one more question for you.
Okay. The interview is supposed to be.
These people like to know everything about everyone. So.
Okay. All right.
First game for me, it was Aladdin for the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
First game you ever beat.
This
Without
I will
help.
Never forget. This I will never forget.
See, that's why
I have talked about this on the channel.
Everybody remembers their first.
At some point. Well, it was an important first for me because back in the Nintendo and the Genesis and all those days, we would rent the games.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Right. So you'd have a weekend. You'd have a weekend to beat it.
Yep.
Right? And Nick, better at everything than me, just is. I no ill will to Nick. He's just better at everything.
That's bullshit because he also never beat Blasto.
Who?
Nick.
Oh, Nick never beat Blasto. Yeah,
I brought that shit over. That was the hardest game.
That game was hard. It was also a bad game. So you had to put yourself through it. Phil Hartman's great, but it doesn't make the game good, man.
So what was your first game?
Okay, so to finish the story, basically everything we bring home, what would happen is because we only had a weekend, we would both start our own separate playing it. We would take turns. And then I'd realize at some point that Nick would get farther in it than me when he died out. So I wanted to see the end. So I would start sacrificing my turns so that he could get through and just beat it. DuckTales, ladies and gentlemen. That was the one. He couldn't do it. I was getting farther than him, and Nick actually, all honor to him. He was like, all right, it's your turn. I'm sacrificing my turns to you. And on the day that we were going to return it, an hour before we had to go to the store to actually give it back, I beat that motherfucker with my entire family watching. And I was like, this is amazing. I'll never forget this. I beat DuckTales. It was rough because DuckTales had a level selector,
Okay.
And you had to, it was almost like Mega Man in a way. You had to go to a certain order.
Remember I played it. I just don't remember how far I got.
But after you beat that, you fight a boss and you think that's the last boss, and then there's a whole nother level after it. So I thought I was done. I was like, plenty of time, and then it was like, there's a whole nother level. I was like, give me a half an hour, man. Give me a half an hour. I'm eating eggs while I'm trying to get through it. It was close. You're an idiot. We're not interviewing you. Okay. All right. So, we're doing good on the interview. I have the question I like to close out with. The last question I like to ask, okay, is, would you get down? You're terrible.
She wants to be interviewed.
She wants to be in you, is what the problem is. All right, so the last question I like to ask is, out there right now, there's a developer. He's making your perfect game. What does that look like? What's your perfect video game? The game that you've been waiting your entire life to play.
Actually, they possibly started making that game that got canceled.
Oh.
It was supposed to be...
It's turned into a tragedy.
An EverQuest game. I forget what it was called, but it was made by the EverQuest people. But they were supposed to be introducing the voxels for the video. Basically, it was just very, very fine, pixels. Uh-huh. And it was, questing. It was RPG style. But, monsters could actually come back to the place that you would, call home and destroy it. You could dig. I love digging. Honestly, one of my favorite games. I love digging. One of my favorite games still that I get made fun of for by a lot of people is 7 Days to Die. Because it's survival crafting. I love a lot of the elements, but the game is crap because they never update it or do what they're going to say. Big surprise.
I thought it was the green. Why do I always think of
There's Green Hell.
Green Hell. Yeah.
Which was alright. But I don't know. I loved 7 Days. And I would love to have been expanded. And I would love...
That's a more recent game.
Yeah, sort of. Depends on which iteration, which release you go with, because they tricked people once before. I mean, PC's up to date, but they keep changing all kinds of things. And then one of our other friends, Ben, plays it on PC, and they keep twisting it and butt fucking it from here to Egypt.
Okay.
It's just, but no, for me, it would be medieval, and they would have unique weapons. I'd be able to dig, survive. This way, when you get tired of doing one thing, you could go do another. Hey, go do a quest. Go kill a dragon, get lots of loot. Design your home, build your home, dig in the ground for, precious metals, ores, hell, maybe even a dungeon.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
There are some games on PC like that, some indie games, but they're very, bitty.
PC gets
they're
on.
very, bitty.
Yeah, and see, I'm not... I like my 3D, I like my graphics.
I get that. Okay, so I'm going to ask one more question. I know that was my last question, my last gaming question. I want to ask a special last question to you. Because we're doing more TTRPG stuff on here, and you are a TTRPG fellow. What's your favorite TTRPG? And what's your best tabletop role-playing game experience?
Oh, see, I thought it was like titty time. I thought we were going like hentai.
It's got the two
anime.
titties. Tabletop role-playing game. It's the titty. That's how they do it on the twits, on the tweets, on the tweeters.
Hey.
No answer's wrong. I mean, I'm sure Azalum will think something's wrong, but... No answer's wrong.
The question is, what is my favorite tabletop RPG?
Favorite tabletop RPG, and what's your favorite tabletop RPG experience?
I would say my favorite tabletop RPG still gonna have to be World of Darkness.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I didn't know how into World of Darkness you still were or not. I know you enjoyed playing it, but... World of Darkness, everybody is like Vampire Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, it's like...
Mage the Ascension.
Yeah. It's like a network of emo kids got together and made it... It's not bad, though. It's just written terribly.
It's honestly hard to say, because I've expanded my knowledge for favorite time and or moment, or even character.
Okay.
My original favorite was a vampire named Balthazar.
Okay.
Got his name from the TV show Charmed, the original, not the fucking new one, which I have not seen.
There's a new one?
They redid it.
They redo everything, man.
Of course. I don't know. I can never remember a lot of the storylines, which, you figure if they were big, they would pop out and I remember them forever. But that's not the case.
Yeah.
I just have a very bad memory.
I have a pretty bad memory sometimes, too.
But I mean, he's done a lot of things that were fun and adventurous, and honestly, I think my best quest line is yet to come. Because he didn't really have a whole lot of really direct purpose. And that's the biggest problem with a lot of characters, especially my own. They don't really have a goal in mind.
Right.
I'm just playing to play.
There's not necessarily a motivation. You're just making a character and
I'm
seeing what happens.
doing stuff. I mean, I've created some memorable moments.
Right.
Like exploding police stations, setting things on fire. Big business, apparently. That's for a Western RPG.
That's inside. If you know, you know.
Rolling through the streets of a town naked with a giant hammer on my back.
That's good role-playing game stuff right there.
It had moments, but no real purpose. This time around, whenever we get back to it, he will have a purpose.
Okay.
And it's nice to actually have a goal that's not... It's a personal goal, not just a goal. More power. That's like everybody's goal.
I like to have my characters have a center motivation. It makes things a lot easier to make those improv decisions.
Improv decisions to actually play them and get into it, not just keep it as a game.
Yeah. All right, well, Grandpa Gamer, Jeremy, thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you doing the show with us, too. I mean, we already kind of plugged the only thing on the channel that you do. Is there anything else you want to plug?
That's going to involve dinner first.
Just see the gears for the joke. I just saw the gears immediately.
There's no gears. I was should I? Shouldn't I? I mean...
Oh, it's fine.
Hey, just people need to watch.
Yeah.
Explore. Let us know.
Yeah.
If there's anything we can do to improve.
Yes.
Let us know.
Yeah. But probably just not do it. The best way to improve.
And you see, that is perfect because that will fuel for more. And unfortunately, when those comments come up, the stupid takes over, and you just drive in more stuff. And the next thing you know, we're going to have hand puppets in a wrestling ring that you have right over here.
I'm going to tell you right now, if we did a hand puppet show in that wrestling ring, I think we'd go viral. Immediately.
Probably.
Immediately. If they were handmade hand puppets that we did, They were all socks. Like, yeah.
Oh, they'd be socks. Hell,
Yeah.
maybe even old Nick would get on board.
Coming soon. Coming soon. Hand Puppet Wrestling League. HPWL. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be back in just a second with the shameless self-promotion that we always end the show with. And thank you again, Grandpa Gamer, for being here. And we will. You can check him out on OMGM every Thursday, where myself and him book GM mode against each other while complaining about
battle
stuff,
it out.
Basically, we battle it out.
Battle it out. And for now, still in the U.S. until it gets sold to Arabia.
Yes. Yeah. See you guys in a second.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hey, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for our show. And it was a really awesome show with some awesome people. I want to thank those people. William Houen for jumping in and showing us some cool stuff. Just talking about his life. Bloody Nose about talking about his life with you, both of their lives with YouTube. And then, of course, Grandpa Gamer for jumping on with me personally and doing the interview. We will be back to normal next week. It'll be me and Neil bitching about the video game industry just like normal. I also want to say real quick that I don't think I plugged it, but William Houen goes as William Aubin, Aubin. It's all in French, but he has his music there on Bandcamp. I urge you to go take a look because since I did that interview, I have been able to take a listen, and I absolutely love his music. It's great stuff, very interesting, kind of different things, and I'm always a fan of stuff like that. So go take a listen. Might not be for you, might be for you. You won't understand the words, though. He is it's all in French, but I actually kind of like that about it, weirdly. As far as us goes, we have a lot of stuff to offer. A lot of stuff coming out on the channel right now. I do want to do a couple of special plugs, though. This Thursday, we're finishing our T-Shop playthrough, our last T-Shop playthrough. That would be me and Wizards Respite doing some TTRPG stuff. That would be tabletop role-playing games. We got halfway through it 2 weeks ago. I urge you to go back and check that out. And we're stepping back in to finish up our kind of weird two-player game of it. That was a lot of fun. We will be streaming it. Feel free to jump in and talk to us between chapters. We'll definitely be answering any chat we get. And then Wizards Respite again. Want to give another shout out to them. We are, like I said, we were going to be doing more TTRPG stuff. So about 5 years ago, myself, a friend of mine named Mark Bell, you know him because I announce him every time for the picture. We did this one-on-one game when we were playtesting a role-playing game that I never actually ended up publishing. And this was like 5, maybe more years ago. And we loved it so much that even though we knew the game was dead, we kept playing it until we resolved this storyline. And it's a huge storyline over the course of 3 kind of novella-sized books. And we are releasing those in chapters on Wizards Respite. So you could check that out in the written version. Also embedded in those versions is the YouTube version in which I narrate and Mark does all the voice for his character. So that was a lot of fun. Those will be coming out Mondays, both here on the channel for the audio version. But I urge you to go check out Wizards Respite and their narrative version, the written version. And like I said, you can just watch the narrative version there. Other than that, for gaming stuff, we still got plenty of stuff. Prelude to Divorce still coming out. OMGM still coming out. Plenty of stuff, plenty of streams. We've got Phil Billy back in the streaming game, doing wonderful with his Baldur's Gate 3. He's doing a kind of a crazy build with it. So yeah, good stuff. Road to Baldur's Gate is what he's calling it, I believe, and that's awesome. So yeah, we got a lot of good stuff going on right now. Please check us out. You can also contact us on Facebook at OmegaMDH, on Twitter at Omega9. You can join our Discord, links in the description below. And again, any fan interaction from this episode will be answered next week along with the weeks prior, so we'll probably have a lot of fan interaction. So feel free to make your comments. We love hearing from you guys. We love talking to you guys. And the more you comment, the more we'll want to put you on the show. Just like the 3 today. So we'll see you guys then. And as long as you keep watching, listen, we'll keep making them. See you guys.